Greetings, crypto people. My name is Deeley, and welcome to Crypto Britz. We'll be telling you about something absolutely remarkable that's happening in and around the technology space in this country, because it will have worldwide significance. So you've all heard of Silicon Valley, I'm quite sure. It's kind of been the spawning ground for massive companies like Facebook and Apple and Google. But what we have here in the UK is called the Silicon Roundabout. And in point of fact, in 2008, it was a bit of a joke. Someone actually cooked it up because they thought they were being clever. However, it's not a joke anymore. So actually, after the two big continental economies, such as America and China, Great Britain has become one of the most powerful tech hubs in the world. And by some metrics, we actually beat the United States, for example, like startups per capita. So we're going to be looking at why that's the case, the government legislation that actually led to that situation, and what the potential future is for the whole world, not necessarily just Great Britain. I think the first thing to point out is that there's a triangle between Cambridge, Oxford and London. And that triangle contains 12 of the top 20 universities in the European Union. And some of the universities are in the top 10 in the world. So what we have is a pool of really smart, clever people, postgraduates who are coming out of those universities who would normally go into the fintech industries in London, the finance industries. But since the crash of 2008, those banks and fintech companies have become less and less attractive to postgraduates. We can cite a company like DeepMind, for example. You would have thought that the company DeepMind came from Silicon Valley. Well, nothing could be further from the truth. In fact, DeepMind was created by two postgraduates from Oxford, and Google bought DeepMind and are now investing significantly more money into London, building a campus for artificial intelligence based around the company DeepMind. We also have a Japanese bank called SoftBank, which have parked and based themselves in the London area, within about 10 miles of Silicon Roundabout, and they have a bank of $100 billion to invest into what's called tech unicorns. Unicorns being exotic creatures that have the potential to be multi-billion-pound operations worldwide. So how did this come about? Well, of course, we all know that in 2008 we had a massive financial crash, and we're still living with the ramifications of that particular incident. We've already mentioned that a lot of postgrads coming out of universities, the top universities in the world, would normally be hoovered up by London or one of the other major world financial centres. But because of 2008, the fintech industries have taken a bit of a hammering in terms of reputation. And a lot of these new postgraduates are thinking to themselves, well, you know, I don't really want to be associated with the bank. I really want to make a difference. And they're looking at the technology sector and saying, I could be part of something that could really make a massive difference worldwide to ordinary people. And that's actually what we're seeing. David Cameron and George Osborne changed the nature of government data. They actually said that let's open up government data, because before that, government data was held and was extremely secretive. But now what we're finding is that government data is open, everybody can access it, unless there's a particular reason why that is not the case. They were decisions that were encouraged by David Cameron and George Osborne. There was also the formation of the British Business Bank, which was solely set up to furnish capital to venture capitalists to invest in this space. So we have a confluence of regulation, very smart people who are very incentivized to develop really smart applications in the new world of technology, blockchain, and artificial intelligence. Now, you might think that could be disadvantaged by the current Brexit situation. But if you actually look a little deeper, a lot of the people are saying, Well, that's really just a little blip. Most of the smart people that are migrating to this country to be part of this revolution, to this fantastic space, are coming from the United States, India, and Australia. So they're actually, a lot of these companies are very sanguine about the Brexit situation, because they also note that the European Union, the Commission, when faced with new technology, their instincts are basically regulatory and protectionist, which does not help in the current technology space. So we've talked about why, and we've talked about kind of the right amount of government regulation and support. But how does that actually affect us as ordinary people in the street? Where's it going to lead? And so we're going to now look at what's going to happen in the future. Well, we talked a little bit about the regulatory instincts of the EU, which is what we're seeing, in fact, in China now. Both kind of institutions are top-down in terms of regulatory framework. They don't really offer the same kind of freedom or encouragement to technology companies that you'll see in this country. On the other side, you've got the United States, which is largely self-governed, and there is very little governance concerning the techno space. But that can lead to vast growth, but also technology that is spiraling out of control. And we can see this now, where Facebook is facing a great deal of criticism, and people really don't like them. And the same is true, I think, of Microsoft. Microsoft has always been a company which has been massive, but not really universally well liked. And in the UK, we have something, a bit of a hybrid. Yes, we have governance, we have regulatory control to a certain degree, but we also have great encouragement. And I think the government in this space has been very nimble in terms of dealing with this kind of technology and how to encourage it. So I think the reason why we have such a powerful tech hub in this country, particularly within a 10-mile radius within London, is we've got this kind of pitch-perfect regulatory framework. We've got super smart people coming out of the 12 fantastic universities within a 60-mile radius. We've got super smart people coming in from the United States, from India and Australia. We've got seed money and venture capital money going into that space. We've also got the development of ideas in blockchain combined with artificial intelligence. Now, just to give you some idea of where the artificial intelligence development will go, in this country we've got institutions which have been running for many, many years, which have centralized, huge centralized databases which can be mined via artificial intelligence, such as the NHS. So what they're looking for now in the DeepMind experiment, artificial experiment, are ways in which to mine that central source of data to improve diagnosis of illnesses that far exceed human beings. So doctors maybe have a 80, 70, so even the best doctors maybe have a 75 to 80% diagnosis. We're talking with the use of AI and the database in the NHS of diagnosis in excess of 95% accuracy. We're seeing huge inroads into these types of developments, both in the medical sector and also in the educational sector. What we're going to see over the next few years is a transformation in how individuals are going to be taught, our schools are going to transform, the NHS is going to transform, and all these sectors are really going to see massive changes. So here at Crypto Britz, we're going to take you through and introduce you to some of the companies that are in this space and actually try and get some real people working in these companies to come onto the program and tell us what they're doing. We hope you can join us. My name is Jay Deeley and this is Crypto Britz. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the alarm button.